Most people act on emotion instead of logic. If you try to argue with someone who is emotional at this moment, especially a woman, she won't let logic interfere with her, ever. As men, we're counted on to be grown ups, to do the right thing, and not act emotional but logical when needed to do our job. Emotion is energy in motion, and most humans aren't exactly above animals. We are acting on our reptilian brain, which is instinctual and emotional also, but we have bigger brains than animals, so we have thoughts, and that's what differentiates between us, but we are still emotional beings. When you have estrogen in your blood, more estrogen than you need, you become emotional. And when you have testosterone in your blood, you become logical. That's the difference between a man and a woman. There needs to be a balance in the family, in the workplace, in every place, because we know that the feminine is more chaotic, and the masculine is more about order. And you see that in houses, families that don't have a father in the house, single moms, how everybody is just emotional and destructive without having a limit on what not to do. Depends from which house you came. If if you had a father figure, or a weak father figure, or just a single mom. I grew up in a house with a single mom, so me growing up with my mom and brothers and sister, it was a hard time growing up when having all these emotional outbursts without any order in the house. It led to me to have addictions of many sorts. So you have this deep emotional energy stuck in your body. You seek approval. You try to get it from your mom, but maybe your mom is toxic and she is manipulating you. And you want this fulfillment from the inside. So you seek it from the outside. You take stimulants of all sorts. You binge, you chase tail, and yet you don't feel good at the end of the day. It's temporary. Whenever I had some energy, I would numb myself with drugs, smoked cigarettes, I masturbated. But what saved me was stopping PMO and starting to fast. I noticed with intermittent fasting, it's addictive. It changes your brain chemistry in a way that you feel clean. So when I started to clean my body of whole toxins that I had, my thoughts started to be cleaner. And in the morning, when I had more energy and I would start my day without smoking a cigarette, it was easier for me to continue my day without smoking one. You have a limited amount of willpower in your brain each day, so you need to direct it and use it early in a useful manner, and not just wasting your energy because you can't control it and you don't feel good about yourself. So it's all about this dopamine in your brain. We're creatures of habit, and it takes 21 days to form a habit. So I used my willpower, and with intermittent fasting plus semen retention, to gain strength and discipline. And I found myself beating the first two addictions. I got my body in shape. I controlled my lust. So the first two deadly sins are almost off my to-do list: lust and gluttony. I look at food as how it benefits me. I don't want to eat crap because I will be made of crap and my thoughts will be crap and my actions will reflect on that. Fasting makes me productive, and when I eat every day, when I eat all day, 5 meals a day, I feel sluggish and I can't really focus. So my sloth was kind of fixed when I started to make more money and I have a stable job. My greed went away because I have more fulfillment, because I had enough cash, and my envy started to go away. Sometimes I would be envy of people having more money or better bodies, like I wasn't born as tall. I did gain some height due to researching it a lot because I was obsessed. I improved my body. Semen retention with fasting really changed my life. I understood that I was wasting myself, and if I want to improve, I need to change my habits. So, as I was getting better, I noticed I was starting to be prideful. Like, I'm better than you guys, than most of you guys. And I stopped caring about people, but you need to understand that you need people. Your business, your work cannot work without customers, or you cannot have good social life. Friends you should appreciate, because when we don't have connections, we are weaker and become more disconnected. But when we connect to more people, we feel stronger. And the more connected you are to the world and God, you feel more fulfilled. And the one thing that really bothered me was I used to have a lot of sleep paralysis when I was unclean. And I noticed the more negative energy one harbors, the more negative spirits he attracts. So I wasn't able to sleep much. I used to be terrified of sleep paralysis. At first I didn't know fear this much, but it's creepy. You feel fear when you are like there's something on you. But when I stopped my nasty habits and became more clean, so to say, I stopped having sleep paralysis. I started to astral project sometimes without wanting to. When I used to go to sleep, I was having energy, like I was overflowing with energy, and I could astral project, just focus my energy body outside of myself, and I was just going out. But now I try not to do that as much because I need to focus more on this material plane. Point is, when you harbor more negative energy, you become less aware, you are less connected to everyone around you. You don't want to forgive your parents, you don't want to have connections, you don't want to have friends. You're suspicious of every woman that you are dating. When you are going in the right direction, you are doing your job, you are taking care of yourself, you harbor more positive energy, you start to be more connected with people. Things work for you. You become more aware. So when you sin, you practically lower your vibration. 7 deadly sins can hold you back. And you need to be aware of yourself and what thoughts you have. Sometimes it's not even your emotions and thoughts, because in our surroundings. We can feel other people's emotions, and sometimes we're not aware that it's not ours. Not just emotions, but thoughts. You're a little bit telepathic, but just don't, you can't differentiate between your thoughts and your emotions and others when you are in crowded places and you're just so jumbled up in life that you are becoming lost. Semen retention and fasting are the first steps and can save the world, literally, from what I've experienced. You don't have to start fasting days or a lot of time. You can start with at least 12-hour fast. Just don't eat at night, because your body is not made to eat all the time. Your healthy cells don't only need like maximum of 12 hours of food intake a day, but your cancerous cells, the cells that can mutate and destroy you from the inside, are constantly in need of food, and their main food is sugar. Fasting is just, it's a whole subject that we'll talk about on another day, but it's really curative. Gives you the base that you need in life with, of course, semen retention. Chase the right things, like your purpose, making yourself better. And that's addictive, but it's at least something that it's not destroying you long term, but strengthens you. And you need to give a fuck in life. You need to develop a black and white thinking, like Elliot Hulse said. And what this means is that most people are somewhere in between in their thoughts. They're not exactly for it or against it, but they're in the gray area. And when you are not sure of what decisions, what perspective you have on a subject, people will feel not sure about you. So you need to be clear about what you are for and what you're against, because there are things that are negative and do damage to this world and yourself, and there are things that make things be put in order and helps everyone.